fights at Manchester Arena, my stomping ground. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Liam Smith. Decent domestic fight, this one. I'm going to go to you, Josh, first. Give us your verdict of this one.
Yeah, I actually like how Liam has looked. I think you can look at Liam from the standpoint of pre and post Canelo. I would think that Canelo fight, the stage was probably a little bit too big for him, and he had a decent showing, but of course we know what happened there. But I think since then, just from an overall standpoint, he's continued to press forward, and despite some losses, he has pretty good momentum right now, and I think it'll make for a pretty good fight as far as him and Chris Eubank Jr., who will finally be getting in the ring. And I think with this being at 160, of course, I think that Eubank Jr. will and probably should be the favorite.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I do think that old Beefy will give him a test, and I think it'll be good for as long as this lasts. But I see scenarios where this probably could go the distance as well. If Liam is able to move pretty decently and stay away from anything big from Chris Eubank Jr., I think I could see it pretty much going the distance. But yeah, I think it's a good domestic matchup, even world level matchup for the most part.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely be tuning in, kind of see the outcome. The card in itself looked pretty good as well. I was wondering why that red flag was there next to Liam Smith's name. After that had any true meaning or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Alex, give us some thoughts on this one, mate.
When I first heard it, I wasn't that excited, but looking, it's kind of like what Josh has said. Beefy has really had a really nice run since that Canelo fight.
Yeah.
I mean, even that Canelo fight, he didn't look bad. It was just he just wasn't good enough, and that's okay. You're not always gonna be as as good as a top 10 pound for pound fighter, which Alvarez was at that time. Because that was before. Alvarez took on Triple G a couple of times and moved up all the way to 175. So, he's had the two Liam Williams wins.
Yeah,
the Jaime Munguia. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say the two Liam Williams wins were impressive and propelled him right back up into that kind of world level. And then obviously he got beat up by Munguia fairly handily.
Which is just too big, too strong. Basically, it wasn't Munguia. I mean, we could talk another 5 minutes on that, would be a waste of time, just like his career has been. But a lot of people felt that Beefy got robbed in Russia. I never saw the fight, but I heard.
I was going to mention that. I think he had an unfortunate decision there, so that's a good run, taking out the Russian result. Carry on, Alex.
I see what the flag is. It's from his fight, the beating that he gave to Vargas. New York commission. It seems they basically suspend you indefinitely until you just apply for your next fight. Then they go ahead and remove that red flag, because I see it all the time. Lomachenko also has it.
Good to go.
Anyways, so I think Eubank, honestly, the thing I'm worried about is the letdown from the Conor Ben fight. But I think he's just too big, too strong, too fast, which we've seen Beefy basically succumb to. It's going to come down to his IQ and him minimizing his mistakes. Like I said, Eubank is really fast. He is super athletic. So for him to be able to catch up to that speed and to time it to where he's not going to get countered too hard, to where it's going to affect him, that's going to be how the fight goes. But yeah, I'm thinking Eubank. He might drop him once or twice, but I think Eubank unanimous decision for this fight, which the card seems really solid. So I definitely want to make sure it's an afternoon here. Yay. Love being in the U.S. for these type of fights. Better than our own fights that end at 2 a.m. So yeah, man. Thank you, UK. I definitely think the winner definitely gets himself into title contention in the middleweight division that needs somebody to step up.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I think Essuman and Congo, was this scheduled to be on the undercard of Eubank and Ben, and we discussed it back then?
Because Essuman had fought recently.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
On a
is that where
card.
we covered him? No.
Yeah, I know.
So that was
I
back in
feel like
September.
the Lionsdale belt was on the line over there. I forget who he. Oh yeah, Antwi.
Antwi.
Antwi, yeah, in Manchester. So what card was that? Yeah, because I remember
Yeah.
it was on the Joy Joyce Joseph Parker, who's also on the card.
Right, yes,
Okay.
yes, that's correct. And he's on
Yeah.
this card as well. That's an evenly matched up fight, another domestic one for the British welterweight title. So that should be pretty good. Have you got any thoughts on that, Josh?
No, I agree with you. I think it's fairly even. Congo, I know he had high regards. Despite that one loss, he's still pretty solid, I'd imagine. And I think that it can make for interesting contest between the two. The 50-50 fight, as far as I'm concerned. If I had to make a pick, I kind of like the momentum of Essuman at this point.
Yeah.
But, hey, 50-50.
Yeah, exactly. Fraser Clark also on there, heavyweight, and as we just mentioned, Joseph Parker against Jack Massey. Big phrase. And Richard Riakporhe getting another outing as well.
Yeah, I've never had the pleasure to watch the undefeated gentleman. The only first time I heard of him was my first time watching Chris Billum Smith.
Yes.
And I guess he has a win over him.
Yeah, he did.
And I guess they've been building up to try to get them to match up, but I think now they're kind of on separate sides of the UK street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's an interesting matchup because I think with this win, that's it. How you say his name?
Richard Riakporhe.
Riakporhe. That puts him in contention because I thought Glowacki had moved up to heavyweight. No, or is that another cruiserweight?
Yeah, it might be a different one.
Yeah,
Glowacki.
I remember Okoli.
Oh yeah, it looks like he
beat him.
Yeah, that is right now. Yeah, Okoli. I didn't know he had fought since the Okoli fight, but of course Glowacki. Yeah, he's been around for a good little while now. So I think that Richard Riakporhe, this might be sort of like his coming out party with a somewhat notable name in the cruiserweight division who has had a title at some point, a world title that is. So yeah, it should be a showing for him. I haven't seen Riakporhe either, Vega, so I've seen some highlights. So I know he's held in high regard. So it'll be good to kind of see how he does with Glowacki, and if he can get him out of there, which is if he wants to put on a true show, that possibility will certainly be there with Glowacki to get him out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be a good statement win for him. It's quite interesting to watch. He's nice style. He can punch. He's 6'6", so he's huge for cruiser.
Jesus.
So there is talk about him moving up to heavyweight potentially in future.
Him and Okoli, that would be a pretty interesting matchup. Two tall cruiserweights going at it, looking like heavyweights in there.
And it's possible because Okoli is kind of a free agent.
Okay.
Right? Have you seen those back and forth with Eddie Hearn?
Yeah, I hadn't seen that. I didn't know this.
I think he's in a bit of a limbo in it at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that this Jack Massey gentleman that's fighting Joseph Parker, he's moving to heavyweight, and he actually lost to Riakporhe.
Yeah, that's right. A couple of years back.
You got dropped by him. Have you seen Massey or
no?
Not really
I probably would have watched that card. But other than that, it looks like he's just been on low key events. I probably might not have even seen this one. But yeah, not a bad event. One to tune into in a couple of weekends' time anyway.